Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Gronch Music Podcast, the podcast where we let our biases run wild, but it's in 3 different directions, so it cancels out. My name is Lance, and as always, I'm joined by 2 of my closest friends in the world. First up, he didn't think he would live to see the next season of Macadamia, and I think he's right. He's bound to drop dead now, dead any day now. It's Lucas. Lucas, how are you doing?
You mean in this take or in general?
Whatever. Next up, he might look like a gnarled veteran on the outside, but let me assure you, he's a complete teddy bear. It's Matthew /Ross/ the Garlic Lord. Matthew, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. That's actually a pretty good description. I haven't shaved in like 3 months. I'm looking like a mountain man, so.
Are you?
A little bit. So either a mountain man or a teddy bear.
I wish that happened to me, dude. If I don't shave for 3 months, I just look like a male to or a female to male transgender. It's not a great look.
Anyway, guys, this week we will listen to "The Rise of Hobo Johnson" by Hobo Johnson. Lucas, how'd you feel about this album?
I don't know, dude. It's kind of. I'm not really sure if it's good or not. I think I enjoy parts of it. I think like there's some pleasing parts and there's some very displeasing parts. I think it's a complex little flower. You can listen to it. You can just kind of listen to it over and over again because it's 27 minutes long. You can just kind of zone out.
How about you, Matthew? What would you feel?
Oh boy. So when Lucas introduced us last week, saying how it could be really good or really bad, and it's kind of a little cringe emo rapper. I think he said that before when I introduced RTJ4 as one of the albums to listen to, and after listening, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I trust that. Like it sounded fine. This time, on the other hand, I believe Lucas. This is that's the sound I make when listening to this album. It's just. Yeah.
So you're not a fan of it?
No, what that's the sound of? That's the sound of not an ROS.
Whoa.
It's a lot to unpack. I have a lot of things to say about it. So.
I think I'm the odd one out yet again. I kind of like this album. I thought it was pretty apparent that this guy has some talent. And even though this isn't the cleanest album out there, I think it definitely shows some potential.
I think you're right.
And I like this album. I thought it was a good listen.
This is not. This might not be my favorite material put out by this guy, but I do think there are some high moments in here.
So you guys want to run through the set list?
Yeah, bro.
Starting with Sex.
What?
Starting with Sex in the City.
Oh, true. Yeah. So this is the little. This is the introduction to Hobo Johnson. Frank Lope or Lope.
I think this
it is not the introduction. There is an earlier album. There's a grimier, even more uncut album than this.
Okay.
We might get to at a later date.
I think I did hear about that, but this is like the official like record label release of this guy. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So Sex in the City. Surprisingly, this was actually like probably one of the songs I actually did like on all of them.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty strong one.
Too sure why I like it, but I think the chorus actually is pretty good for me. I kind of do like in this one, the lyrical content's okay. I will say a couple of verses. Oh boy,
the SJW stuff.
Not even that. I have really bad back knee. It looks like the gosh dang night sky.
Dude, it sounds like some Mac DeMarco shit. I'm a fan.
I was okay with it, but it definitely set up what the rest of the album was going to sound like for me. So
I can resonate with that, dude. I also have some really bad back knee, and it might look like the gosh dang night sky.
Ooh, but yeah, I like the product looks really, really great. But that's a whale.
Jamie, cut that.
I really like the line in the chorus. This probably looks really, really great with the girl that's like a 10 and a guy that's about an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The chorus was fun. The song was pretty fun. I think the instrumental was nice. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's got a nice, like, it's got some serious vibes at the beginning, and then it goes into the more Pepega stuff, which I think is a running theme throughout the album.
Yes.
Next up, we have Demarcus Cousins and Ashley. I think the first few songs on this album are kind of similar, in my opinion.
I didn't like this one at all.
Really? What didn't you like about it compared to the last one? Because I thought they were pretty similar.
There's a point in here where it, like, transitions to like 4 different styles of music, and they all just sound awful when you run through them all. And it's like the verse 2 where it goes like, "I love you like Kenny loves to dance." It sounds like some weird like dubstep interlude. And it's, oh god, no, you know what it gave me? It gave me the vibes from like the openers of Sorry for Party Rocking, and it's just like a little breakdown dubstep thing. I just it just terrible PTSD flashbacks from that. So
how about the one lyric? There's one lyric I want to ask you about. It's "I love you like the Kings like to lose," and I think that's a hockey reference, correct?
I did look it up because Demarcus Cousins, I think it's if you remember the Raptors versus Golden State, I think he goes by another name. It's Boogie Cousins. So I think he played on the Sacramento Kings and then went somewhere else and ended up on the Golden State Warriors.
I see.
It is confusing though. There's a lot of kings in North American sports. So.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of other than that, there's like some shit talking to the U.S. He's like, "Look it up. The U.S. caused a lot of trouble throughout history," or whatever the hell.
Okay, I do like that lyric.
That was really funny.
Breakdown, dude.
That was pretty funny, but other than that, the rest of the song, no. It's just the one lyric for me that does. That's it. That's all I'm there for.
I like this song. I think I like the beginning of this album quite a bit. Next up, we have "Dear Labels." It starts with like a chicken crossing the road intro. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. Okay. This one, literally, I'm not going to joke to you. So it's Sex in the City and Dear Labels, and that's it. That's the only 2 songs I like. And this is probably my favorite here. I really...
very strong instrumental on this song.
The instrumental is probably the best on the entire album for me. I love the instrumental. Lyrical content, I think it's fine for the most part. There's nothing really like that. Like, oof. I don't really yikes a lot on this one. It's probably...
How would you describe the song, dude? It's got like a very like shimmering, like kind of ethereal sound. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting.
It's funny because I think I would like. I don't know if I would listen to the song again. I would 100% listen to the instrumental again. If there was like, okay, maybe I would listen to the song, but the instrumental, I feel like it's a strong reason why I really like the song. So.
Yeah, the song breaks into another theme. It's like where he's leaving labels and stuff. It's kind of, I think it's similar to like Chance the Rapper, right? That's kind of his shtick, where he's like an indie rapper.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, like how he blew up big without having any record label with him. So.
Yeah, I can respect that. I like the indie music. You know, it's hit or miss, and I think this one hit for me personally.
Fun fact: his first album thing before this one was named I think Toyota Corolla because he lived in his Toyota Corolla at the time.
Yeah, there's like lines about him talking about like working at a pizza shop and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one, dude.
His parents kicked him out. Next up, we have Mario and Link. Oh snap, dude!
Ross, tell us what you think about this, baby.
All right. So yeah, after Dear Labels, the rest of the album,
Ross, you're a Smash fan. What do you think of this song?
You know what this reminded me of? Like, I listened to this a couple of times, and every time I couldn't, like, stop thinking of all the, like, the video game song Smosh type parodies on YouTube, and how this kind of felt like it almost fit in that in some ways. Like, I don't know why, like, I can just see, like, Anthony Padilla in, like, the Ash Ketchum uniform just saying this, and it just...
I thought it was a bit more tasteful than that.
there was Sonic in it as well, and I don't know. It made me mad. I don't know why it made me so mad. It just did.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like the samples of this song are mainly Sonic based, even though it's called Mario
Yeah.
and Link. That was a little confusing. There is some Mario 64 samples as well, though.
Yeah. I don't
Other
know.
than that, Matthew, you missed the entire point of this song, okay? It's about him relating to the personalities of these characters, Mario and Link, and their pursuit to save the princesses. Personally, I don't relate with Mario on this one. I think the Mario story is quite shit in general. But like Zelda has some good stories, dude. Like Ocarina of Time is about him traveling into the future, giving up his entire childhood to save the world, and then at the end he's sent back in time and he's the only one that remembers it. That's some powerful stuff.
Damn.
By the end of that game, I always like shed a tear.
That's
I can
fair.
relate to that song or this song. It's very like nostalgic, you know.
Okay.
Which I think is a thing a lot of these newer indie musicians harp on. Is a lot of like video game nostalgia. There's a artist called Alex G that I listen to sometimes, and he has a lot of like songs that are like N64 themed.
I get your take on this, but like when I was listening to the lyrics, listening to the song, reading the lyrics, I didn't feel any relation to the stories there. Just I don't know. It seemed very. It didn't even seem like. I don't know. It didn't even feel like it was related at some points in some ways. I don't know. Like
That's the entire point of the album, though. It's very scatterbrained. Like, he drops
Yeah.
from topic to topic. I think that's part of his style. That's what he's going for.
but like topic in the song. I don't know. Not even like the album, but
Yeah, but he does that all. Like you throw out all the songs, he's swapping topics like every other sentence.
that's fine. Or well,
I think that's enough of Mario, and like we've talked
Yeah,
for more
okay,
than
yeah,
the
just
length of the
keep
song
going.
itself. Next song
Let's
is
cleanse our palate with Father here.
Yes.
The next track. I'm a fan of this song. I like this song, dude.
Dad.
I can't even believe that there's a second callback reference to an earlier Gronch music episode.
I love. Okay, I'm like okay with the song, but the only reason I'm okay with the song because of the chorus.
I'm the new Will Smith mixed with Michael Cera. Michael
Fucking
Cera
banger,
making his
dude.
second debut on our podcast.
Okay, I have another question. Did anyone? Okay, I have the genius lyrics here, right? Did anyone hear the word Kevin Spacey in the chorus? Because I did not.
I did, dude.
Did you? Okay. I thought it was just me. I was like, did they edit that out or? But okay, if you heard it, then that's fine.
I did hear it.
This is one of the heavier songs, right? It's like talking about his father leaving. And a
Yeah,
bunch
dude,
of, like,
this one's
crazy
kind of
shit.
like this one's like say it ain't so vibes, dude. This one's a real feelser.
I also do like the I don't know what to call it, like the enunciation. Like her breath smells like pride of self, and the other man she used to eat, and the monster doesn't sleep. It just schemes and fiends on the next tasty meal it gets to eat. It gets to eat. It gets to eat.
That's some good lyrics. I like that.
That's the lyrical content I like, but it felt very few and far between, in my opinion. Because then after that, it goes back to I'm the new Will Smith. I'm mixed with Kevin Spacey. I'm the new. Oh God, yeah.
What do you
I
think
don't
that
know.
means? Like you're the new Will Smith mixed with Michael Cera. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. The funniest thing is, like, what was it, Lucas? In some of the albums, you like to reference when the artist just kind of keeps calling back on a single thing. This guy referenced Will Smith many times. I feel not only in the song.
I feel
but
like Will Smith's a charismatic dude. I feel
He's
like
more
he's
like an
a
idol.
great guy.
I feel like he's
It's like-
referring to Will Smith's rapping capabilities, so he's like Will Smith,
Yeah.
but he's
This
mixed
is-
with Michael
we should
Cera because he's a
specify,
skinny
yeah.
white guy.
Is that a good thing though?
Dude, Will
Like
Smith
Wild
has a
Wild
couple
Smith.
bangers. He's got a couple bangers. I wouldn't say
I
his
don't know.
consistency is very good, but he's got a couple bangers for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, my.
anyway, next up. So it goes from Father, which is talking about sad shit and divorce, to Romeo and Juliet. And this song is
Jesus.
by far the saddest on the album, in my opinion.
It- yeah.
This is when it gets into sad boys territory.
It didn't even feel sad, honestly. It was too. Okay, well, yeah, it is sad, but like I don't know, dude. The intro threw this off so hard for me.
What was
I
the intro?
don't know.
I don't remember it.
The it feels so good. The girl.
I don't think I remember that part.
Oh, well.
I remember it, dude. It's great. What's your problem, bro? Why are you such a prude?
It's I don't know. It's just very weird to start. I don't know. It felt very
it's
weird.
to embarrass you if you want to play it in front of people. That's the only reason.
There's one thing that
probably honestly because
what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say. I think it's another reason why I probably don't like the album because all these songs I would just not play in front of other people. Like I just would not.
Music is like that, dude.
I know, but like I don't know. There's some music where I don't know. There's some music that I like that I would actually say, here you go. But I wouldn't be like, hey, let's listen to The Rise of Hobo Johnson. I don't know.
There's one thing that caught me a bit off guard about this song, and it's that like he's really talking about in detail about his parents getting divorced. And I think he was like 22 when this album came out. So it's just a little weird that he's like really... I think it's okay to be talking about it and like thematically and stuff. When he's so overt about it, it's a little bit cringy to me. I don't know if it's just me.
That's Lance. Don't worry, because I sort of feel. I mean, I could probably go like the end of the album to kind of expel my thoughts, but the one thing I do feel that the album was kind of like, looking at the age that he releases that and how the lyrical content was, it almost felt like he was singing like as a. Or I guess spoken word in some ways, but it felt like an immature album in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
like it felt like a 13-year-old was saying this stuff. Like I could understand it was a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old. It's kind of harsh,
Matthew.
I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. It's like you're releasing this album like at the same age I am right now, and it doesn't vibe with me at all.
I think if I had some advice for Hobo Johnson, it's maybe make your songs a little bit more general and leave the specificity out of it. It's a hard word to say, boys. Specificity out of it, because I don't know, it's a little rough around the edges when you do that. When you're talking about like specific events and stuff that occur, it's just a little bit hard on the ears.
I pulled myself back so hard when listening to this because I really wanted to see like reviews from other people to see if people had the same thought I had or people actually like this album, because I was wondering if it was just me, but it might just be me that doesn't really like the album.
That's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good.
I don't know.
I think it's definitely possible to have a cringe-based allergy to this album, but I think if you can get past that, it's pretty good.
Maybe.
But the cringe is only part of it. It's literally like half of it, I would say. So yeah. I think you could like, I don't know, separate that part.
The other thing I was thinking about, and maybe I just don't like spoken word. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like spoken word.
There's some rapping on here, dude. It's not.
There's some rapping, but
really call it spoken word.
I don't know. I looked up the genre and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's why the rapping sounds a little off, because it's more like some sort of weird rap spoken word like combination. So
that's enough of Romeo and Juliet. Next up, we have Creve Coeur 1. My impeccable French pronunciation. Lucas, first of all, I'd like to applaud you for us starting on one of a song for the first time.
Oh, thanks, bro. I mean, it's the least I could do.
I'm glad it's not Creve Coeur 2, because I know I'd be very out of the loop. Now, actually, I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album. It's got some nice verses, though there's like a lull in the middle that I'm not a huge fan of. But that's just because I don't know. I like my music to be very dense.
Is this the one where it just kind of goes silent and then he's just kind of speaking and rapping over nothing?
I think it does go silent. There's like one sick verse and then it goes silent for a bit and then there's like another verse that's like okay.
This one has a great lyric that I like. It's she's like a Skrillex song that never drops.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good one.
And I'm just the opposite. I just don't like that. It's I don't know. It's like, for me, a lot of these songs, I think I knew that I didn't like this, or some things were funny to me when they really should not have been funny to me. I don't know.
Maybe you're hating yourself more than the album. That's what it
I
sounds
don't know. It's just some of it was just really like, I don't know. I was very confused and just like laughed out of like pure confusion and like weirdness. So I don't know. Maybe I'm hating this album too much. Who knows?
Next Next up, we have 3%. I think this is a song about having 3% chance to make it in the music business.
Yep.
It's basically the vibe of it.
Sounds real good, dude.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah.
What'd you like about it?
I just identified, dude. I identify with it. I identify with the struggle.
Okay. I felt like it was fairly average, in my opinion. How about you, Matthew?
I also think it's fairly average. I think the one thing I will applaud the song, it does feel a bit more, it's a bit more, I don't know how to say, not life, but the fact that it seems very
Relatable?
like not relatable, but from the first verse to the last little from like the outro, every time he says 3% chance, he gets like slightly more enraged.
Ooh.
I don't know if you noticed that, but it felt it was nice. It was like this sort of build up of like the doubts hanging over him, getting more slowly more impassioned, more passionate to keep going forward and not wanting to, like almost wanting to isolate himself from just everything that keeps him down, to keep pushing forward. So
did he make the 3% chance? Could we conclude?
I think he did.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Smile.
Congrats. Smile. Big smile.
And then it goes on to Jesus Christ. This song was probably the only song I really didn't like that much. It was okay, but I think it's just the weakest song. It's a lot of repetition, a lot of harshness.
It is a lot of... The repetition is also like kind of annoying in my head. I don't know why. Jesus Christ is super nice. How many times do you say that in the song?
I don't know.
Or something related to that. It just feels like it's not it's a lot, but it's just, I don't know. It's almost I don't know how to word it.
7 times in the song.
7 times. Felt like way more.
That's super nice. Anything else to say about Jesus Christ?
He's trying to see if he can find religion as kind of like the not necessarily a backup, but if things were to go sour, would religion kind of save him? Would Jesus save him? But yeah, I don't know.
On to the ending. This song was pretty good, I think. It has like 2 segments to it. So the first half is like a song, and then it goes into like him basically saying thank you for listening to the album for like a minute.
It reminds me of the ending of like Rick and Morty season 1, you know?
Lucas, I forgot to mention that this guy reminds me a lot of Morty from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, he really does. He's got a real Morty thing going on.
Especially in like the first song, I think. He does like some straight Morty quotes.
It's true, dude.
I like it. I enjoy it. Morty's a good character.
Sorry, I was going to say he talks about Predator and Alien vs. Predator as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting.
How do you feel about like saying thank you to for listening on an album?
Okay, this one's kind of mixed for me because I was just like, when I first heard it, I was like, really? Really? And then he kind of started saying things over and over. I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, okay. It's the one lyric that kind of like stuck with me was, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. Speaking about the music business, so no one's gonna tell me how to write a song, you know.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, okay. I can kind of see what I will give the album points in certain areas. It's just the overall thing I'm not really like too big on. But this is definitely like
too Jason big on.
Yes, so it's a very Jason Biggs, all Jason Biggs movies. But
Ross, what's your favorite Jason Biggs appearance? Mine is the Wheatus Teenage Dirtbag music video.
Excuse me?
It's very specific, but I understand what you're talking about.
It is very specific. I don't know. I don't think I can say much, honestly.
It's too bad. You haven't even watched like Orange is the New Black?
No, man, I actually don't.
All right.
Probably should.
Moving on.
That's it for the album, boys. We finished it.
That's it for the album.
That was pretty good overall. Matthew, time to break out the Rossometer.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna get out my closing thoughts here. It felt like this is like emo rap, right? But half the time when he's saying this and combined with the spoken word, I almost want to say he created. I will say this: he's created something completely different I've never heard before, and this is like a pretty like true expression of himself. Maybe too true in some ways, but I respect it. I will respect it. He did not go. He went full in. He went full ham. So I respect that. But I will say it's almost like he created like anxiety rap. Like half the time when he's saying this, it feels like he's like in his room just talking to himself or talking to someone else, and just kind of like pacing and being very jittery of what he's saying. Like there's no confidence. And that's why I kind of say like it's kind of like an immature album, because it feels very like teen angsty, but he's like 20 something, so it's kind of weird. That's why it feels weird.
It didn't really feel okay. I guess it's your segment.
Know,
I shouldn't interject, should I?
Should I? I wanted to interject.
You can go after. Matthew, rate it on the Rossometer.
No. We'll talk, because like I do want to have some closing thoughts before the Rossometer. So
I don't know. I feel like a lot of bands like continue immaturity like that into like way later stages of their career, like fucking Weezer or like Blink-182. Like I feel like a lot of people recycle that.
I didn't
shit.
really feel it was teenage angst. I thought it was more mature than that. I think that's a little bit not fair to call it teenage angst.
I think it's definitely too scattered to consider a teenage angst. There's definitely way too much weird shit.
On your point about him pacing back and forth, you say the opposite. You could say he wrote these lyrics to like calm down. That's like a different thing. Like it's like a therapeutic experience, you know?
Maybe no, just like the way he like
condensing all these thoughts of his into his art.
That's fair. It's just the way that it's calm. It feels like he's like.
Do you think that a combination of Will Smith and Michael Cera and perhaps Kevin Spacey would have confidence?
I don't know. It doesn't.
I think so. All those people have confidence.
Cancel everything out.
Michael Cera cancels everything out.
I think so, and it turns into this. You know what?
I think Michael Cera has more confidence than you think, Russ.
Maybe. You know what? Maybe, but. I think, I will say this. I don't think he's wrong that he is the combination of Will Smith, Michael Cera, and maybe Kevin Spacey and Jason Biggs and whoever else the references were on. I can't remember the last one, but yeah, I liked a couple of the songs, a couple of the instrumentals, but overall the lyrical content, some of the song instrumental choices, it did not really vibe with me. And in terms of the Rossometer, I had to debate. Am I going to give this something lower than Sorry for Party Rocking? And I think I will. So I'm giving this an R. Just like in public school. Just like in public school. I'm giving this an
hard R. He's dropping the hard R.
Yeah.
An R. That's the lowest rated album we've done so far.
It's like I thought about it. It's like there are songs that I would listen to on Party Rock Anthem that I wouldn't, or Sorry for Party Rocking, that I wouldn't listen to.
You don't have to explain. You dropped the hard R. We know what it means.
I think I like this album.
Why you did it.
It's like one of my favorite we reviewed so far. It's getting the R. That's sad. Anyway, let's move on to the meme archetype. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that this is a Doomer album, personally.
Definitely.
Are you in agreement, Lucas?
Yep. Living in your Toyota Corolla is about as fucking Doomer as it gets.
Now, as for the best songs on the album, do you want to do the thing where we list our 3 favorites?
I think that's a pretty. Shake up the format.
I don't know. I think it's a succinct way to do it. It seems to work.
Succinct.
All right, dude. How about you start us off?
I think I like the ending, Creve Coeur 1, and Sex in the City.
All right. I think I like Dear Labels, Sex in the City, and the ending.
Dear Labels, Sex in the City, and Father.
Oh, Sex in the City wins it, I think.
Looks like it.
The only non-explicit song. This one's rated E for everyone.
That's true. Yeah,
the Raw special.
There you go.
Okay. So, Sex and the City Doomer album. Okay. Okay, Lucas, are you ready for your question?
No. Before that, I would like to announce that this podcast is sponsored by Bucklow Bear Bile. Bucklow Bear Bile. Balance your humors. Continue, Lance.
Actually, we're moving on to the next segment where we'll find out what we're listening to next week. Matthew.
Oh.
I've been waiting in anticipation.
Okay, so I've been, over the past week, also deliberating between two albums. I'm going to put this one on the shelf for later, and I'm going to do the album that I was actually originally going to do first. My first album choice. I did not choose what I wanted to choose. I chose Sorry for Party Rocking for whatever reason. But I listened to his latest release, the release in 2019 called Assume Form. This is a English singer-songwriter, and the genre apparently is called post-dubstep, which sounds bad, but it is definitely...
What is the album?
It is not what you expect it to be. However, without further ado, the album for next week will be by James Blake with his 2011 self-titled album, James Blake.
Okay. So it's post-dubstep.
Yes, it's this album is liked by many.
Interesting.
And
interesting.
It's not.
Is this a woman's album?
A woman's album?
We'll have to wait till next week to see, Lucas.
I'm curious. My interest is piqued.
I don't know what a woman's album is.
He's peeking. Okay, Lucas, you ready for your question?
Fucking hit me,
now,
sir.
I will remind you, you have 3 lifelines remaining. Your first is phone a Ross. Your second is Google one phrase. And your third is create your own lifeline. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the question. Does the sun have moons? It's a scientific question. Does the sun have moons? You do have your 3 lifelines?
I'm using Ross.
Oh, no, really?
You're ringing Ross.
Oh, God. Alright. If I'm being honest, I'm actually not too sure about this, but I'll give you my take. I'll give you my take, okay? I think by definition, a moon is only supposed to be orbiting a planet. So, the planets and celestial bodies orbiting around the sun would not be considered moons, in my opinion.
Is that your final answer?
I don't know. I'm just giving it to Lucas. I'm just giving it to Lucas. If he wants it, you can take it.
I trust Ross implicitly.
Well, I don't really know the answer because I Googled it and I couldn't figure it out, boys. If you Google, does the sun have moons? 2 celestial bodies pop up. They're dwarf planets, but I don't know if they're considered moons or not. I think they are not. I'm pretty sure they are not.
Are they in the asteroid belt?
I don't know.
Because that was the thing I was thinking of, but they're technically dwarf planets, so they're planets, not moons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably.
That's what I was thinking. Because the moon is an orbiting satellite, and yeah, I don't know.
Yep. It's an unanswerable question. Science doesn't know. We'll never know.
If Ross doesn't know, nobody knows.
I will say no. I will say the sun does not have moons. The sun has planets. If you want my personal take.
Mine, Ross knows.
Until then, boys, until we find the answer to this question, Matthew.
Comment in the comments below if you know and want to take me on in the battle of space and science.
What's the album for next week, Matthew?
James Blake with self-titled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
See ya.
Hey, missus, will you take me to a world where nothing else exists except the contents of our soul, and there we'll talk, you know, our Instagram DMX too. What up?